So it's 2020, and I've been using a Samsung Galaxy S8 for around about 6 months now. So why would I use one of these? Well, I was curious to see what the actual quality of these are. Granted, I've pretty much dropped using a Samsung phone ever since the Samsung Galaxy S6. I went the 3, the 4, the 5, got to the 6, and I realized the phones aren't that much different. So I dropped the Samsung series from there, and then eventually jumped ship to Xiaomi, where I've been mostly ever since. So I will be getting rid of this, and then moving towards a Mi Mix 3, which seems to be the forgotten evil stepchild of the Xiaomi world, where not many people seem to be using them, even though they're meant to be the most premium that Xiaomi have to offer. So with my time with the S8, how have I been finding it? Personally, it's been pretty fine. It's a relatively small phone by today's standards, which the price of these second-hand is probably comparable to a Samsung Galaxy A20 or A30, if you don't mind the second-hand market. The camera quality of these has been perfectly fine. Image quality on this I found perfectly fine. Pretty much comparable with most other phones that I've used. They have not been a drama at all. So yeah, if you're not really too far into photography and just want to quickly whip out the phone and take a photo, this will work perfectly fine. So when I first got this, a couple of things I did require. One was that I wanted to have an aftermarket ROM on there, which on this particular one I went with what's called Hades ROM, which may or may not be viewable there. And what I also did to it as well was I end up installing the Xiaomi or Mi gestures. So for example, back, menu. With it I wanted full screen gestures. That was one requirement this phone had to do. The navigation bar down the bottom just annoys me nowadays. I've since dropped that, and I've been using either the combination of the Samsung's own inbuilt navigation and also the Xiaomi add-on which can be put on there. Gaming wise, gaming performance, there's really not too much that I actually play on here. I have been playing Call of Duty or Call of Duty Black Ops on here, and it's been running perfectly fine. I haven't really had any issues with that. Running decent frame rate, looks good, no issues at all. Apart from a slightly smaller screen compared to what you would probably want for most video games, otherwise it's been perfectly fine. PUBG I've never really tried on here. That game doesn't overly interest me. Been using it for Downwell. Completely easy to play indie game. And also been getting into Reigns. I found connectivity wise, Bluetooth has functioned perfectly well and adequate to my Sony 1000 MX3 headphones and also my car. Can't really fault the Bluetooth on this device at all. And audio playback on the phone itself, I haven't really had any issues with it. One advantage with the Hades ROM that I've installed, I've been able to get the earpiece speaker to also act as a regular forward-facing speaker during video and media playback. With the aftermarket ROM on here, I did find it did freeze every now and then, but overall it was still pretty darn good, where the vast majority of the time it was perfectly functional, perfectly fine. Every now and then we had multiple things open, it may freeze up and have to hit the power button a couple of times to quit out of it. Another bug I did encounter was if I had media playback happening and I'd lock the screen and turn it back on. For example, Spotify, you get on the lock screen the audio controls to skip and pause. Typically it would ignore me trying to press it at the lock screen where I'd have to unlock the phone to then get it to work. But I do put that down to more of a bug of the ROM than the phone overall. So if you had one of these pop up relatively cheap in 2020, would it be worthwhile checking one out? I'd say most definitely, but as with everything, it always comes down to price. If you're happy to settle for a slightly older 2-3 year old battery, and also you're paying considerably less than a newer model Samsung, comparable to the A20 or A30, I would definitely be going for one of these second hand. The image quality of it's been brilliant. Netflix at night time, blacks are black, I don't see nothing at all. The colours are vibrant and pop. Overall, definitely a worthwhile phone to check out in 2020. Even though the image quality of this is really good, the other thing I didn't like about it is the curved screen. which to me adds nothing extra to the function of the phone, which in turn also gives me a lot of dodgy button presses, especially using YouTube. I'd scroll across to the next video or tap on a comment and all of a sudden I've bounced off somewhere else completely. The curved edges I found to be just a hindrance, purely a cool look to them, I'll give it that, but I much prefer function over form. So to sum up, one of these in 2020, I'd say it'd definitely be worthwhile if you're on a budget and you don't require the newest flagship technology. Anyway, that will do for today's review, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.